Welcome to the third week of my Kiwi Dream renovation. We can't put it off any longer. This week we're ripping into the lounge and dining areas, and I've got myself on a little bit of a deadline. I got so excited about my little piece of paradise here above Karaka Bay, I went and invited a few friends over for a little party, and there's a lot to achieve before we can get to that point. I'm expecting to hear back from Mike Pero this week as well on the extra finance I really need to pay for the window I've put in that wasn't on the plans. He gave me quite a telling off about that. Some people call it a budget blowout, I call it an extra window. Hopefully it's good news.
I've been thinking about all we planned. I've been thinking about all we dreamed. I've been thinking about living the life supreme. I look around and see just where we are. I can't believe we've come so far. I just want to shout about it. Now there's no doubt about it. We're living the Kiwi Dream.
My Kiwi Dream renovation so far has been a bit of a trial and resembled more of a Kiwi nightmare at times. There's been rotting floorboards, dodgy blocked pipes,
yeah, hold it there.
suspect foundations and water damage, meaning re-renovating our renovations. Holy Moses. Not to mention the ever-present tension and threat of running out of money.
It does make it a little look.
You've got a problem and we've got to address it right now.
But persistence does pay off, because on the other side of the ledger, so far, I have gained a magnificent master bedroom and ensuite, a multifunctional space downstairs serving as a guest room, kids' bedroom and a media room. And then there's this little outdoor escape created by Pascal from the Natural Habitats team. My budget was $470,000 to complete the entire renovation. All the trials and tribulations have pushed my budget to $499,800. So I'm travelling at $29,800 over budget at this moment. I'm nervously awaiting Mike Pero to come back with some extra funds and pull me out of this mess. I've worked with Refresh Renovations to put my expert renovation team together. Talia Jones is my project manager from Refresh. Also from Refresh is Mike Haywood, my building and project manager. Dean Wiley is my architect. Sally Ridge is my interior designer. My landscape designer from Natural Habitat is Pascal Tibbets. Handling all my building, electrical and plumbing needs are the boys from Blue Cross. Mike Pero from Mike Pero Mortgages is providing the finance, and my demolition dudes and labourers are from National Personnel.
Okay, let's cut this carpet up and chop it in the bins.
So far in this renovation project, in comparison, we've been fiddling around the edges. This space is the main game. We're gutting the whole lounge, dining and kitchen area, which takes up the lion's share of the upper floor.
That's all coming out.
A green cross means it's marked for demolition, and there are plenty of those here. The whole kitchen is being completely gutted to create a seamless, free-flowing lounge come kitchen area. And if a blockbuster won't do the job, a chainsaw will. It's all about opening up to uninterrupted living space and views. This pelmet is being marked for demolition too, but I'm not so sure I agree. Before Mr. T is allowed to wield his blockbuster here, Dean, my architect, and I need to sort out a little difference of opinion. This pelmet, I didn't realise this was going. The rest of the room now is just all square lines. It's the only curve left.
We had talked about it earlier on. We just want to keep the simplicity of the place, clean lines, lineal, with square stopping right round, and there's no architectural merit in this pelmet.
The whole room though now is so bare and long and square, and this is the only curve in the room. I don't know if I like the linear look, Dean. You said, quote unquote, we have to keep the significant features of the house, and this is a significant feature.
This is definitely not a significant feature. There is no merit in this really, and it's the only one left in the building, the only curve that we've got, so no architectural merit in it.
Somebody's munched the end of that.
Just relax, Evie. We've got it all under control.
Well, there's no turning back now. The boys from National Personnel show no mercy. Meanwhile, outside, Pascal's team from Natural Habitats have started on creating another special outdoor recreational space. This time, the barbecue area. They're creating a retaining wall and laying more sleepers as an extension of the spa and outdoor fireplace area. It's all part of Pascal's grand plan, connected and yet an entertainment area in its own right. Part of the landscaping.
You know, guys are going to stand around the barbecue and burn their meat or whatever, but I think this isn't a good space for them to do that and keeps them contained. What I want to do here is run just a couple of sleepers through the concrete so it's flat, and then also those, you know, those beautiful little mosaics that we talked about. They're just going to be scattered from there right through, just coming out to nothing out here, and I think it'll just beautify it a little further.
Lovely. No, I like it because while this is practical, it doesn't just have to be a concrete pad, like you say.
No.
I like the theme and the flow. Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm ecstatic, can't you tell?
Yeah, I'm just checking because there's been a lot happening with the house and I don't want there to be something you're not telling me. Is everything okay?
No, we're all good out here. It's going well.
You are now my favourite professional working on this job. Poor old Mike Hayward, my project manager from Refresh, is not my favourite at the moment and he knows it. He seems to have nothing but challenging news for me lately. Mike's latest concern is the floor in the lounge and kitchen area. With all the carpet and vinyl out, it has revealed a pretty challenging job ahead. We'll need to manage blending a number of mismatched surfaces, and Mike is worried this isn't going to bode well for my budget. In the original budget, there was an allocation for the lounge and kitchen floor of $25,000. Mike's preparing me for a potential blowout here. It's the last thing my battered budget needs right now. All I can do is hope for the best.
Hi.
After the break, Mike Pero returns with news on my financial situation. More expensive problems with another wet patch.
What needs to happen is we have to dig out the back and damp proof right around this wall. That's the only way.
And later, I get ripped off by a rogue tradesman. He insisted on being paid before he went to Vegas.
Okay.
My Kiwi Dream renovation has moved into top gear. We've had some hard knocks along the way, but some successes too. Demolition is a brutal job. I was sad to see this pelmet go, for example, but sometimes you have to take a deep breath and trust your architect. As we continue to rip into the main lounge, dining and kitchen area, the boys from National Personnel are making light work of a heavy job. Time for an update from Mike Pero on my struggling finances. I'm pretty anxious about this chat. I find myself searching for any signs on his face of what news he has for me.
Okay, I've gone through all the figures and it's not good. We can't go any further. I didn't even bother going back to the bank because I already knew the answer. We've just got to make it work from here, and we're just going to have to trim something else off the budget.
It's not great news.
It's not all bad. From here, we've just got to be very careful with what we've got. And it's just like any situation, whether you're going to an auction, home renovations or anything, you must get the finance approval first before you dive in and spend the money, okay? So just give me a call. If you think you're going to have a spurge, go and just get on the phone, give me a call.
And the news just keeps getting worse. The other troublesome Mike in my life, Mike Hayward, has discovered some more water problems.
Right, as we can see here, water's been coming in, and in construction, moisture is not our friend. So you can see how much this has decayed through here. It might be tracking back through the wall, it could coming up from the bottom, we don't really know. So what needs to happen is we have to dig out the back and damp proof right around this wall. It's the only way. It's just what happens. We've pulled off the plasterboard and we can't see this from behind, so.
So this is the level of the driveway outside?
Pretty much, and look at what this is fighting. You've got all this water coming down the driveway. It's hitting the side of the house and running off.
So just this corner?
No, unfortunately, no. We're going to have to go out each side and do the whole wall. There's no use doing a portion of it. If this is rusting like this now, we don't know what else is happening inside this wall. It's got to be stopped. We cannot have moisture coming in.
Talk about kicking a girl while she's down. Lowry concrete cutters prepare the way for an unscheduled, unbudgeted big dig around this corner of the house. At this point in the renovation, you can get the demolition blues. I've lost my pelmet. Apparently there's water pouring into that corner of the house like a river down the driveway. There's no better time than now to remind myself of the dream. This is a house built in the 1950s in California in Palm Springs. You can see how this style adapts itself really well to this house. On this side you've got the fine steel joinery, similar to what we've got now, that they call spider legs, and on the other side is the full seamless opening, which is such an exciting prospect, the pavilion opening that my friends keep pushing me towards. I actually love them both. Hang on to the dream. Before we embark on the main expanse of windows overlooking the harbour, this window on the driveway side is being replaced as well. The old window was large, but I wanted larger, and double glazed as well. A steel beam is bolted underneath the joinery to support the sliding mechanism for both the window from glass relate and the external shutters, so that the whole thing can open right up.
So the shutters are in from Seaboard Joinery. Look at the way they roll.
Oh, very nice. They are, in fact, can I have a turn?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, beautiful. Now, this is why I'm so happy I got Dean in to do the job of architect, because it's these touches that are really going to finish the style of the house. It's kind of European and still beachy.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you can imagine opening that up. Someone coming down the driveway and looking at that view. Just looks awesome.
Playing with my new window and shutters was a brief, sweet distraction from the problem directly below this window. Having cut the concrete, the National Personnel boys are digging a trench around this corner of the house to address the water damage problem that is penetrating through to the lounge room. The plan is to set up a comprehensive waterproofing and drainage system to head off any water that might pour down the driveway. It's quite a process. First, the specialists from Neurolite heat up the concrete foundations and then, working fast, roll on a tar sealant. Next, waterproofing is applied around the foundations. And then, as another level of defence, a poster board kind of material is screwed into position to separate the waterproofing from the soil. Then a full drainage system is created and sealed off with concrete. Job done. The final financial damage of the trench dig, waterproofing and drainage system was $7,900 in materials and labour. That means I'm now $37,700 over budget with nowhere to move. I need to find some savings fast. Regardless, I'm going to need a kitchen, and kitchen designer Mel Corboy from Mel Corboy Kitchens has come to paint me my kitchen dream. Now, Mel, designer to the stars, I'm quite interested to see what you've got for me.
Well, I think we've got something that's quite great, and it's going to meet what your brief was, that you're an entertainer and really want an entertainer's kitchen, and that it's going to do justice to this room, because we've got this fantastic fireplace at this end, this stunning view behind me, and the kitchen that's going to pull it all together. What I have done is opened up the whole kitchen right the way around to where our cavity door is. So you're going to have lovely bench space right the way around, and then we're going to have some nice over cupboards above and your wall oven tower there.
Lovely.
And then right where we're standing, we're going to have the main part of any kitchen, the island.
Right here.
Yep, right about here. We've managed to get a superb island in here. It's as long as we can get it. We've got it 2.3, so it still gives you plenty of access down each side of the island, so you're going to have 2 entry points into your kitchen, and people aren't going to get in your way while you're cooking.
I saw some other details there too, like an iPad dock.
Yeah, we've got the iPad dock. So if you look down on this elevation here, I'll put in an iPad dock so you can quick access to recipes, your music, Facebook, just future-proofing the whole house, really.
The kitchen is becoming more and more like a lounge, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the kitchen is becoming the heart and soul of the home, and it's not a room you want at the back of the house anymore. It's where you want to be out there and showing people that you are a good cook and you've got a great kitchen.
Oh, Mel, it's going to be so exciting.
Oh, yeah, so I suppose we've got to get it off to Fife to get it started.
Today, off you go.
Today, all right.
After the break, the great debate. Are we going with aluminium or steel? I can't believe it. You've actually managed to marry our two visions together. And I just may have found a way to save some money on the troublesome floor. But not everyone is convinced it's a good idea.
That camera's on, I'm saying now, and this is on the record, that this is a bad idea, and I bet you I'll be saying I told you so.
This 1950s house renovation has been an all-consuming project. It seems every turn we take presents a new set of challenges. I'm up to my neck in debt, but I'm pushing on in pursuit of my Kiwi Dream. We're tackling the main area on the upper floor, the large living, dining and kitchen area.
Our steel beam's turning up today, so what we've basically done is we've propped our existing ceiling rafters up to stop the roof from falling. We've braced our existing walls to stop them from moving in and out. And we've cut back a metre clearance to allow our new beam to go in.
The 12-metre length beam from JC Welding is bolted into position, ready to support whatever sliding joinery and window system we choose. One of the most dominating aspects of this space is the ever-present view through the windows. There's been considerable discussion on how best to take advantage of this view. I want to open it right up as much as possible so that when the mood takes you, there's nothing between you and the view. I understood that this could only be achieved with aluminium joinery. However, Dean, my architect, is in love with the notion of maintaining steel fittings, as was originally in the house. But that may mean I would need to compromise on how open we can have it. This issue has been a tension between Dean and I for weeks. I know that you love the steel joinery.
Oh, definitely. It's a major feature of the house, and we need to maintain that integrity.
My friends are in my ear about this.
Stop listening to your Philistine friends and listen to your architect.
With the old joinery and glass now removed, it's time to settle this debate. And Dean tells me he's found a solution.
Evie, this is Darren Arnold. Hi, Brittle Arnold. Pleased to meet you.
You too.
And he's got the solution to our little dilemma.
So you're the man that's actually been able to marry our two visions together of keeping the steel joinery and opening it up in a pavilion-style home.
I've had a look at what Dean has proposed, and I think that we'll be able to achieve everything that you're looking for. The steel joinery is inherently stronger than other forms of joinery on the market, so we can maintain a very fine mullion detail whilst opening the space right up for you.
So how long has it been that you've actually been able to use steel in the way we're using it in this project and still being able to get that pavilion feel of opening it right up?
Well, traditionally steel joinery was a slender hot rolled section, similar to what you had in the house originally. But in the last 10 to 15 years we've started using some more advanced suites out of Switzerland, which enable us to achieve the huge openings and size of sliders that you're going to use here in your house.
I'm just so happy that we've solved this. Back to my challenging floor. Removing the old carpet and vinyl has revealed a whole world of trouble. Underneath lay a mismatch of timber and concrete surfaces at varying levels. As the inspections continue, this floor seems to be providing more questions than answers. Is there any update on the floor?
There sure is, and I get to tell you about it.
Stay close. Why are you moving away?
Okay.
In reality, it looks like we could have to lift this floor up. We found there's actually a cavity under this floor, so the floor's suspended as such.
What, like a crypt?
No, it's more like there's just a space of air between the bottom of the concrete and whatever used to hold it up, so the hard fill.
So this is hollow underneath?
Pretty much, we could bounce on it like a trampoline.
What's the hole doing there?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that when it was built, they had hard fill in there, but over time it's just settled down or it's undermined. I mean, we are on a hill, so water can go in there and it can drag it away.
How big is this hole?
Well, we put a tape at this point and we went through about 3 metres, so it's not a small hole. It seems to be right across.
You're a mixed bag of tricks, aren't you?
Aren't I?
But the good thing about you, Mike, is usually I know there's a solution not far behind. So what are we going to do about this?
Worst case scenario, we rip the floor out and we re-pour a new one. Best case scenario is that we drill some holes and we can inject a resin underneath which will actually support it and also insulate it.
Oh, so it's an opportunity to insulate.
That's right, we're going to insulate your floor for you.
This is when I would like to use in my life the power of montage. And we just see the problem being solved.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's a montage, but sadly not one that will quickly solve our floor troubles. Instead, here comes the steel joinery and windows from Creto Arnold that will frame the fabulous view from the lounge and dining area. There's so much glass here, much more than there is walls. With 60% of heat loss being lost through the windows, in the bad old days this would make it a difficult house to heat. But all this glass from Glass Relate is double glazed to make this space thermally efficient. Double glazing is also great for soundproofing, not that this lovely clifftop hideaway needs to worry about that. A further 30% of heat can be lost through the roof, so to complete a thermally efficient and soundproofed space, a blanket of green stuff insulation will ensure the living and dining area is toasty warm and quiet. Mike Haywood is still nutting out just what to do with the lounge room floor. He has my struggling budget in mind and, as part of the solution, he wants to talk to me about my choice of the final floor finish.
This is what I'm talking about. Tiles.
Yeah, I see that. Very big tile.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it looks too modern and it looks like it's going to be quite a cold finish too, which is not what I want, even though I can have underfloor heating, I know that, but timber's going to be much softer underfoot. It's much more the California bungalows in the 50s look I'm going for.
Right, okay. I mean, it's doable, we can do that. It's purely from a building perspective that I'm saying tiles is the best option, mainly because of the substrate that we've got inside. So easy, difficult, actually on the extreme end of difficult.
So you're saying that's more forgiving?
Pretty much, it's going to work with what we've got in there a lot better. We can do this, but, you know, we're going to have to get specialised guys in to deal with that.
Don't care. I want timber.
Okay. Timber's the winner.
I love being the homeowner. With the floor finish decided, Mike can now finalise his plans on just how to tackle the difficult underfloor preparation. It involves a complicated multi-layer solution.
Okay, so the next thing to do is get the guys in to do the levelling compound, and then we'll put the flooring on top of that.
Yeah, actually I've got a guy that has come in with a cheaper quote than your guy, and I've asked him to come in next week to have a look.
Oh, righto, okay. Yeah, he'll need to do that because it's quite a technical floor. Like Max has been over it with a fine-tooth comb. It's a specialised job.
Yeah.
Is he a specialised?
Well, yeah, no, I've had a look at his the way he quotes, and he's got everything in there that your guy had, and he's quite a lot cheaper, and I do need to save some money, so.
Okay, so he's got everything in there that our guy had, but he's cheaper.
Trust me, it'll be fine.
Yeah, there's alarm bells happening here. Usually, you've got to be very careful because if he has left something out, it could potentially cost you more in the long run.
Everything seemed to be there.
Yeah, I know you're worried about budget, but sometimes it's not best to go with the cheapest.
Yeah, but all he's doing is levelling, and at the end of the day, you're not going to even see his finished work because the floorboards are going on top of it, right?
Yeah. Hey, look, I mean, at the end of the day, I'd probably advise against it. Actually, I am advising against it because, you know, this could hold the whole job up. If
Look,
we have to...
Give me some credit, okay? It'll be fine. Mike, don't be a worrywart.
That camera's on, I'm saying now, and this is on the record, that this is a bad idea, and I bet you I'll be saying I told you so.
Don't worry, it'll be fine. After the break, I'm heading into an electrical storm.
In the mains, they're history, mate. They're all old and outdated. We have to get rid of it.
My renovation dreams are fast slipping away. my Kiwi Dream renovation project continues, and the ever-increasing theme of this project is all about money. It looks like I'm destined to save some money on the expensive underfloor preparation by using one of my friend's contacts. It's a start, but there's many more savings I'll need to make to be able to finish this renovation dream. Out in the barbecue area, Pascal is creating a mosaic masterpiece using the little original 1950s tiles that I rescued from the demolition.
So what we're going to do here is Rocky will come through and float over that and recreate the shape of the wall.
Yeah, it's starting to look good. It's starting to be flat. Because these are out of the bathroom upstairs.
Oh, okay, great.
And so we're kind of looking at this idea of recycling some a little bit quirky, sort of design-wise. And, it's looking like it's coming together.
It is. It's looking great.
Hopefully it won't take too long.
So you're pushing our wall out of shape. And we'll reshape that up and make it look good.
That's right.
And if we don't, it's all our fault.
Beautiful flat finish is what I want.
This house was built in the 1950s. Back then, electrical appliances were few and far between, and therefore the wiring to facilitate this was quite simplistic. But the electrical activity planned for this newly renovated Californian bungalow is going to be much more sophisticated. What with a media room, floor heating throughout, remote control this and that, it's all going to put a much greater strain on the current electrical platform.
We did an electrical assessment of the site, and the mains, they're history, mate. They're all old and outdated, and we have to get rid of it.
Okay, that's problem number one. Problem number two, the board, if we shift this, can we reuse it?
No, we can't keep it, mate. When you're doing a renovation like this, you upgrade all your circuit protection to today's standards.
A whole new system?
Whole new system, mate.
Right, brand new.
That budget's going to rise.
It's going to come up, yep.
That was not altogether a surprise to me, and we had budgeted for some electrical upgrading. But unfortunately, the electrical complications don't seem to be stopping there. Some minor underground drilling to house some cabling under one small portion of the driveway is turning into a much bigger job.
Hey mate, we've got a few issues here with this pole. We've dug a little hole here and we're going to drill down to the house obviously, but what's changed is the pole's been condemned. The ivy's gone crazy, it's a safety issue. They won't accept a cable going up through there, well they just can't feed it through there. Bit of a problem, but we can work it out, we've just got to adjust the shots and away we go.
Whoa, back up? What does all that mean in simple English?
Basically, we've had the site survey done with the electrician.
Yeah.
And what he's telling me is that we actually have to bring a new line into the property all the way from the road.
From the road?
All the way from the road. I mean, there's two ways of doing it. There's one is a thrusting option, which is actually underground, the least amount of impact to your neighbours. And the other one is we actually have to dig the driveway up and manually lay it.
Dig the driveway up that I share with my two neighbours up here?
Yep, and lay that cable down the driveway. So
it sounds really, really expensive and awful.
And necessary, unfortunately. But ideally, the best option here is that we're going to be able to thrust it down.
So, what does all this mean for the budget? Before I was blessed with this latest piece of news, we were $37,700 over budget. We had allowed for changes to the meter box in the original budget, but having to replace all the power from the street down to the house is unbudgeted, and it comes with a yet unresolved outcome of bad news versus worse news. If we don't have volcanic rock under the driveway, then we'll be able to thrust the cable in without much digging. This job is estimated at $14,400. However, if the survey reveals that volcanic rock lies beneath the driveway, then we'll have to dig it all up, much to the annoyance of the new neighbours who share the driveway, and at a price tag of $38,000. Fingers crossed, all the volcanic activity is contained to nearby Rangitoto and not under the driveway. One thing's for sure, I'm glad we're saving some money on the underfloor preparation work by using the friend of a friend. It's a complex and multi-layered process. First, drilling some holes through to the mysterious cavity underneath will allow the levelling compound to pour through and fill the space. Next, time to pour the levelling compound. This will find its natural level, and once dry, gravity will ensure we have a perfectly flat, even surface. The levelling compound is then sealed to reduce the amount of water vapour emanating from underneath. Then, plywood is glued down in sheets to provide a stable surface for the next stage, the underfloor heating laid by the boys from warm-up. A layer of bonding agent is then applied, followed by one final pour of levelling compound. There, my tricky underfloor preparation is complete. Who would have thought something that is never going to be seen could be so complicated? With the underfloor fully prepped, it's time to start finishing the walls with Best Boys, our jib fixing specialists. Which leads me to think, what colours will give target painters to apply in this main living space?
Well, Evie, using colour to me is something I really love to do, but it also comes down to the environment that I'm working in. And I think with a property like this, and you know, with this amazing view that we have out here with the blues and the sparklies and the silvers, and I mean, if you look out here, all the colours we've got, I don't think we really need to sort of introduce this into this environment. I think we keep it very neutral. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with a colour called Quarter White Pointer, which is a resin paint, and keep it fresh and clean, and then enjoy all the colours out here.
Hey, now what's happening out here? Because this has been completely off my radar. It's turned into a bit of a dumping ground. I'm a bit concerned that nothing is going to happen with our front patio here.
What we're doing is some timber strip decking along here, floating. It'll be up, raised up to the level of the floor, so it's just easier to come in and out. Over here we could consider putting in a glass balustrade, so we don't want people after a few wines falling off the edge there.
After the break, just when I thought I was winning, the living room floor job turns horribly pear-shaped. He says he's done a good job, there's no problems there, and he's not interested. And then he hung up on me. Nice guy. It's been a rough and tumble road on this Kiwi Dream project, but the latest spaces in this 1950s gem are nearing completion. We've been working on the barbecue area. The Blue Cross guys have just started on the deck. And then there's this space, the lounge, dining and kitchen area. It's been challenging, to say the least, with water damage problems and steel versus aluminium arguments. But somehow, so far anyway, we're managing to stumble through. The increasing theme of this project is all about the budget. We've had a small win with the difficult lounge room underfloor preparation. This whole pre-floor process was budgeted to cost around $17,500. But the guy we used through a friend of a friend only charged $11,000, so that's a saving of $6,500, which is a welcome relief to the budget. It now means overall the budget is over by $31,200. Notwithstanding the digging versus thrusting issue, which frankly I'm trying not to think about right now. Pascal is helping out by making some little savings here and there in the outdoor barbecue area. Grass and shells are being laid, plants are going in, and a cantilevered umbrella from Weathermaster takes pride of place on the edge of the barbecue area. Then there's those 1950s tiles I gave to Pascal to include.
So we've taken those little tiles out of your bathroom, you remember? And I've laid them, just a hint of them, through here on the wall.
It's gorgeous. It is like a vintage constellation.
I know. So it's just a touch of the 50s, you know? So when you're walking down this hallway here and you look through the door, you just see a touch of that coming through and it just sort of draws you out.
Can we bring the colour of them out anymore?
Yeah, there's probably an enhancing sealer that we'll put on this wall and it'll just bring the colour out a little bit, yeah.
Now, I had thought that those tiles were going into the ground, the floor area, but we've ended up with shell all the way up to the door.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this was concrete, but we've sort of changed that because of the budget. But in order not to get that shell inside, what we're thinking about doing is putting a duckboard through here so people can sort of brush the shell off as they walk in.
We have the results back on the site survey conducted on the makeup of what lies beneath the driveway. And it's a little bit of good news. It's not volcanic rock, it's just soil, which means we're able to do the less expensive, less intrusive on the neighbours option of thrusting. Scott Thrusting are forcing a horizontal hole which will house power, telecommunications cables and mains water pipes. It's an interesting process. The thrusting machine is basically a big directional drill. It has a spinning rod that bores its way through the soil, and as it progresses, more 3-metre lengths of rod are added. The spinning rod also has a location beacon on the head that is tracked by another device that kind of works like an ultrasound. This keeps track of where the rod is travelling under the ground. A really annoying part of this whole procedure is the best access point at the house end is on the corner where we recently fixed the water damage problem. I can barely watch this. Breathe, Evie, breathe. However, my attention soon turns to a much graver problem emerging inside the new underfloor. As Timber Floor Solutions prepare to lay the floor, they notice the surface has become seriously uneven in places. This is a significant problem. You obviously can't lay a floor on an uneven, unstable surface. The mystery to why is solved after a probing square hole is cut. It appears the plywood that supports the underfloor heating has come away from the glue and is buckling. We obviously have to make contact with this so-called friend of a friend to see how this can be rectified, but he seems to be having trouble answering his phone. Finally got hold of the contractor who's responsible for this god-awful flooring job. He's in Vegas, as you are, after you've finished a dodgy flooring job, and he says he's done a good job, there's no problems there, and he's not interested. And then he hung up on me. Nice guy. So I am now $11,000 down, and I still don't have a flooring solution. And I have to break the news to Michael. Yeah, no, I have got him on the phone this time, but he's just hung up on me. There's no way I'm going to get that contractor back to fix this floor up.
So what you're saying is he doesn't want to know about it?
He doesn't want to know, Mike, and we're going to have to come up with another solution, I think.
Well, hey, look, we'll just go back to plan A. We'll get Max and the guys from Seeker in here to sort this out.
Okay.
Potentially this could really hold the job up, so
yeah, I know,
we've got to get on it. Well, hey, the good thing is you haven't paid him, so, you know, it's good. Have you?
He insisted on being paid before he went to Vegas.
Okay. Told you so.
Meanwhile, the second part of the thrusting operation is underway. The rod is now reversed and used to pull the cables and pipes back through the newly created hole. Green is telecommunications, orange is power, and blue is water. All of them needed to be upgraded due to the higher demands from the new appliances, features and plumbing additions. Once the cables are through, it's time to tidy up the mess for a second time. A new set of drainage is laid in the ditch, and before you know it, it's like nothing ever happened. But there's no covering up that plenty did happen, and it shows on the budget. Even though the thrusting was the cheaper option, it still cost $14,400. Add to that the redigging of the ditch and relaying of a drainage system at a cost of $7,200, and I find myself over budget by a very worrying $52,800. And I still don't know what the financial implications are due to the floor crisis in the living room. Above the deck, the Blue Cross boys are installing an awning from Weathermaster. This will extend and retract by remote control, so there's maximum flexibility depending on the weather. While the floor has been taking up my attention, the Blue Cross guys have been quietly getting on with the deck area. The joists have been laid and a floating timber deck is taking shape. It's been designed to perfectly match the height of the lounge room floor, so there is an uninterrupted indoor-outdoor flow. The concrete lip on the deck is cut away, and then the glass balustrades from Euroglass are screwed into position. They're a chunky 15mm thick to withstand people leaning on them or strong winds, given this is potentially an exposed site. The look of these balustrades is a masterstroke of our architect, Dean. By bolting the glass on the side below the level of the decking, it creates an uninterrupted infinite look that flows all the way to the sea. This deck area, complete with the retractable awning, has turned out very nicely indeed. It makes the very best of a perfect situation perched here above Karaka Bay. It adds to the outdoor living spaces, something that's becoming a real feature of this property. And just by the way, this part of our project went without a hitch, on time and on budget. I only wish I could say the same for the underfloor in the main living room.
I'm not quite sure where to go to from here. Mike is telling me that I may need to rip up the lounge floor and start all over again. I'm really, really hoping it doesn't come to that. My $11,000 that I gave to Mr. Vegas, as I'm now calling him, it's gone, it's dead. I don't have my money and I don't have my underfloor. But it gets worse. If I do have to rip up the floor, that's a whole other job that I haven't budgeted for that needs a separate contractor to get that job done, just to bring us back to the blank canvas to get the floor done properly this time. This whole thing has been an absolute disaster. Note to self, listen to your project manager. He does know best.
Next week, we start demolishing and renovating the second bedroom, and it's a messy business indeed.
Snowing downstairs. Just come back from the North Pole.
Pascal has a delightful proposal for me.
Yes, yes, yes. Can I say yes again?
Absolutely, say yes.
And my heart is broken as I finally hit the financial wall.
Stop everything. The building, the filming.
Pick up your copy of Renovate magazine for advice and inspiration for home renovation. To win a grand prize to the value of $10,000, including free architectural plans from Refresh Renovations and a free landscape concept design from Natural Habitats, go to primetv.co.nz/Kiwi Dream.